Hi, Dad, what do you think? This is the 2025 Lexus Texas 350. That's what the TX stands for, right? Okay, great. It's got luxury, it's got convenience, it's got the kind of quiet solitude that you need after a morning of rushing your kids to school, when your son spills syrup all over his shorts and he has to change them right before getting out the door. Of course, he doesn't like sticky. Who likes sticky? But he doesn't like sticky, and it becomes a whole thing, and you drop them off in a hurry and you have to take them into the office, but then you also have to take your kid. I'm just saying there's not a lot of these quiet solitude places around, but the TX 350 provides that. Instead of a long-winded, drawn-out review, I figured I'd hit it up this way. 3 pros, 3 cons. Let's get going. Pro number 1, the space. 3 usable rows of seats. I can even sit in the back. Of course, I can sit in the middle. There's ventilated seats there. There's heated seats there. There's great ventilation. There's vents in the ceiling. It's great back there, and it's even better up front. And look at these seating surfaces. This mix of suede with different leather, perforated. Of course, these are ventilated and heated as well. Oh, gotta get my glasses out. You got a hidden storage space right here. You have nice little passenger cubby right here. You got a double flip center console right here, which is very deep. You've got cup holders in the middle that are removable. I can put my wallet over here. So if you got something bigger than just like a little coffee cup, you can stick it there. In fact, when it comes to space, you've got more second and third row legroom than you do in competitors like the XC90 and the Audi Q7. Impressive. And even with all 3 rows folded up, you still have about 20 cubic feet, which is enough for storing definitely groceries and a run to Costco, but also some bags for a road trip. But let's be honest, that 3rd row is probably for your teenagers' friends who you're hauling around the neighborhood to dance practice.
We're here to dance for the kid.
Fair enough. This luxury trim is why all the kids in the neighborhood are gonna be saying, I want to carpool with you. So get ready. You can even set up the AC so it only blows on people who are in the car. What? Some of the conveniences on this trim, you've got a wireless charger with a hidden space for storage. You can just kick your foot under the back and the trunk opens, which is great if you're holding a box or your hands are full of bags, or you have a kid in one hand and a bag in the other to not have to set something down, especially in the rain. Chef's kiss. Is that the emoji? This one there? I think that's what it is. If you have a car seat, plenty of space. The center console between the 2 captain's chairs can actually pop out if you want more of a pass-through to get to the 3rd row. Check out the door handles. You don't pull anything to open, you just push to open. That kind of makes sense. How come we haven't done that before? The door handle doesn't pop out, it doesn't move. Behind it is a little touch sensitive piece. You open the car. I mean, if you're gonna be hauling kids around, it may as well be fun for you too. So let's talk specs. Yes, that's the lovely hum and drum of the 2.4 liter 4-cylinder turbo. It's got enough. You know, it's got enough oomph to it. It's definitely pushing the engine to its limits, but I'm fine with that. It doesn't sound whiny, and I like the fact that this is an 8-speed transmission. It's not like a CVT or an e-CVT like some cars have. Not really into CVTs in general. I mean, they're good for fuel economy, but not quite as fun to drive, I feel like. This has decent sound to it. Of course, when you're driving, there is some body lean back and forth. That's to be expected. You're sitting up high. This is a 6,010-pound SUV. That's heavy. And if you want better handling maybe, or better suspension, you should opt for the new for 2025 F Sport handling package. Yes, that's right. You could get the TX 350 all-wheel drive with that. This one does not have that, but I think I would opt for that because I like to drive. Even running errands, you know, still driving, right? I appreciate a couple things right off. I like the huge screen. I'll get to the downside of that in a minute, but for now, just know that it is a beautiful screen. It is very responsive. It's very clean, quick. There are all types of nannies and binging and bonging and stuff that happens because there's sensors all over this car. There's cameras all over this car, and I'm okay with it, because you can turn a lot of these things off, you can adjust them and that kind of thing. You're a parent and you're driving a car around with kids in the back, you're probably distracted. They're asking for stuff, you're looking for the stuff. Where's the thing? Where's the permission slip? Where's that sheet of paper? Where's the pickup number for my kid? I gotta look for that. So I like that there's other things looking out for you. In fact, I was pulling out of the driveway, which is a very narrow driveway we have, and the front left, I think it would have made it, but the vehicle was like, the TX was like, hey, you're too close, I'm not comfortable, boom, and it stopped for me. And a big sign came up on the dash that said brake, and I was like, oh, okay. So that was nice, because even if you don't get in a wreck in your car, you certainly don't want to be scratching it up, something like this especially. I like the way the steering wheel feels. It's got the paddle shifters, which is really nice. Feels more like the steering wheel off like an IS or something, so it definitely has more of a sporty feel to it. You can use these controls that are not quite haptic, but they correspond to what's going on the head-up display. That's one of my gripes, which when we get to the gripe, I'll talk a little bit more about that. But overall, like the steering wheel, I like the dash. It's customizable, a couple of different views for you, which is great. I really like that there's a camera hard button down here. I can push that, instantly get the 360 view, because this has the upgraded tech package, I think is what it's called. And so the camera's really crisp and clean there, and it's very helpful. Something else that I like about this car, it's hard to really put into words per se, but it's just got like a nice casual vibe to it, you know? It's not ostentatious, but you do still have lots of luxury. I like the style. Let's talk about the style for a second. The unified spindle grille up front. I really like that. I got to go to Texas a couple years ago and see when they were talking about this design language, because Lexus and Toyota are based in Texas. So I got a chance to get kind of a first look at that when they were revamping the RX 350, and they've carried that design language over to their various cars. I really like it. I think it's a good look. I really like that squared off rear end. It's flat, squared. I like the Lexus script in the back. I think that's a good look. These are really nice wheels. They're upgraded. 20s are standard, but these are bigger. I think they're 21s or 22s. Now, if you're somebody who wants more out of the Lexus in terms of power and engine, the 350 here is the base. Here's what you get. Okay. You can get the hybrid, which is the next step up, and then there's even, that's the 550, then there's the 550 Plus, which is the V6. A lot of people are hating on 4-cylinders these days, so if you want a V6, you got to go all the way up to that. But it also has a plug-in element. It's a plug-in hybrid, so that's kind of nice. You get your power, and you can have your earth-conscious, well-rested sleep as well. Of course, this is not a minivan, and that's kind of the whole point. If you want a minivan because you need tons and tons of storage, and maybe you've got some big car seats, you've got maybe a couple of really young kids, minivan, way to go. So my first gripe is these square cup holders. I don't know, maybe it's good for space that it's a square. Doesn't bother me with something like this, but I thought, oh great, my large water bottle, that's not gonna fit in there. And parents know we're always bringing our big ones. So I thought, okay, fine, maybe this will work, but it's too big. Too small, too big. I'm looking for the Goldilocks cup holders. Come on, guys, let's do this. Doesn't work. Doesn't fit in the door either. That's a bummer. Gripe number 2 is the steering wheel controls. I like how everything's integrated and really nice, but to control some of the stuff like the radio, for instance, or if I want to skip tracks, I'm listening to a song and I want to go to the next one, because you know your kids are like, I don't like that one, I want to go to the next, and you're trying to be a good parent and manage all of this at the same time. You have to use it, and it pops up through the head-up display, but then when I tap it, it's not working, so I have to like basically hit it twice. But now I'm looking up here, which I guess is eyes on the road, but I'm also trying to figure out where's my thumb going on here. I miss the good old days of just like the fast forward button on the steering wheel, or even right here. And that leads me to number 3. A lot of the features are baked into this screen. It is a beautiful screen. It is a very responsive screen. I like all of that about it. And maybe I'm just getting old, but I also see a lot of people on social talking about this too. The buttons like climate, for instance. The only thing that's really a hard button here are my front defrost and rear defrost. I can change the temperature of my AC for the different climate zones, and that's it. And I've had vehicles where the screen goes out. So if that's gone, I can't really do much with the vehicle. It loses all operation at that point. So I do like those vehicles that kind of mix, right? At least maybe there's like a bar down here of some buttons to push. So that's my third gripe. All right, guys, so what do you think? Now, this one here is sitting at around $72,000, and I know that's a lot. Hear me out. That is a lot of money, but the average car price right now, according to the internet, is around $47,000 for a new car. That's just a car. That's the average. We're talking, you know, Nissan Versa up to Range Rover, so somewhere in the middle. So I don't know if that's too much to ask. And I have a friend who's a realtor. And if you're someone who owns a business, family business, personal business, whatever, this car is exactly 10 pounds over what most states consider a write-off for a business. This is 6,010 pounds. Lexus knew what they were doing. So you're getting luxury, you're getting that Lexus quiet solitude sanctuary, you're getting 3 very usable rows of seats, even for adults. I love the amount of technology that they put in there. Of course, there's some gripes with the touchscreen, etc., but that's gonna be on all new cars. I love the pano roof. I love that the second row can have ventilated and heated seats that they slide back and forth. There's a ton of convenience there. And if no one's behind you, you can just chill out like that too. Pretty nice. So my friend who's a realtor was asking me what's a great car for her, something that's not ostentatious or braggadocious, yet at the same time, she can roll up to sell a multiple $1,000,000 home in something and people aren't gonna be like, have you never sold a home before? You're in your Nissan Versa or whatever. And this is understated. It's more than a Grand Highlander, which is basically the same version of it from the Toyota standpoint, but you get a little bit more of that Lexus class, that panache, and I'm into it. So what do you guys think? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure you're following us on social. Have a great day and enjoy your drive. I'm out.